Dr. David Clark.
Mr Chair, this is the government of gerrymandering, John Mandering and Joyce Mandering.
Oh, that was clever.
It is a government that is failing to achieve its own export goals as it meddles in the economy, looks after its mates and fails to produce a vision for New Zealand's future that can take the country forward. We've seen Rod Oram's column on the weekend drawing attention to the government's failure to achieve its own target of reaching 40% of our GDP being exports. The government started at 30% and it's going backwards rapidly. They wanted to achieve 40% by 2025. Now, having admitted failure on their path to that target, they are talking about revising the target downward, Mr Chair. That is how desperate this government is get. When they fail to achieve targets, they start to want to revise them downwards. It's a government that's out of touch and out of ideas. The dairy price drop has hit them hard and it will hit the dairy industry hard. But this government's got to stop blaming the dairy farmers every time the economy gets tough. That's what they do over there in the government benches. They blame the dairy farmers every time the going gets tough for them. Well, it's not the dairy farmers' fault. They take on the risk every day, the dairy farmers, and they do it because they've got skin in the game and because they believe in their businesses. But this government has failed to diversify the economy, so we lurch from one commodity price boom to the next. The dairy price has dropped an astonishing 51% since February last year, and that leaves our economy vulnerable because this government has failed to diversify. It is shifting our product mix from value to volume. By its own admission, it has changed the statistics that it uses to measure our export success away from the value of the products we're selling to the sheer volume. Probably it was doing that in an attempt to make itself look good, but it's got egg on its face now. And of course, the challenge for this government is that they are not going to achieve that target. And now that they try to dress it up and that the public knows they're trying to dress it up, they've got to try and introduce another spin doctoring effort. And of course, they have the ministry for it. The MB ministry is struggling to battle Team Joyce in the minister's office, who so often meddles with their business and their best advice. They have 50 spin doctors. They have 50 spin doctors sitting there across the road. $5 million worth of salaries sitting with the spin doctors across the road. And they probably need it, to be honest, because this government has meddled so much in their affairs, it's very difficult for them to achieve the targets the government has set. That 40% of GDP. Asked whether it was achievable, the Chief Executive said it's an aspirational and ambitious target which is useful to aim for. But he could not say the ministry has full confidence it can be achieved, as so many factors are beyond the government's control. This is a government that has cheapened the word aspiration. In this government's eyes, it now means unachievable. And that is a government that's out of ideas. It is thick on spin and low on solutions. In fact, Stephen Joyce used to be considered the minister for everything. And now we see he has the reverse Midas touch. He used to be the man with the pitch. He used to be the pitch hitter. He used to be the man with the pitch. Now everything he touches turns to schmozzle. That is a man who has got no ideas and sees our economy going down the googler. Mr Chair, I come back to many of the examples of this behaviour in respect of MB, in respect of economic development, Sky City being the most infamous of them all. It is where the minister met behind closed doors with one of the bidders for the convention centre. Mr Chair, this was covered in the Financial Review, as you'll understand. Questions were certainly raised about the probity of that and the words of the Auditor General around the deal being neither transparent nor even-handed. It was certainly something that came up in the Financial Review. And that, Mr Chair, is an indictment on the national government. That particular dirty deal, the Sky City deal for the convention centre, which is supposed to produce, by an independent report, 18 net jobs for the economy. That was when it was still an international convention centre. Of course, it's being scaled back. It may no longer produce 18 net jobs for the economy. The government needs to front up and tell us how that's changed with time. And of course, it's the government that bought us Aurovita. It's the government of disgraced MPs and teapot tapes and the GCSB. It's a government that's failing to meet the promise it set itself of higher standards.
The Honourable Nikki Kay.
Mr Chair, I'm very pleased to take a call in this